The Asics Megablast have been out since September 2025. When Asics finally released more of them in December 2025, I managed to snag a pair in this Ekiden green colourway in my size, which is a UK 13. And now I've put around 150 kilometers through them, I thought I'd give you some of my thoughts. This review is not sponsored. I bought the Megablasts with my own money, and they are one of the most expensive shoes I've ever bought. So all of these here are purely based on my experience wearing the Megablasts. Personally, I've been running for 14 years. My current PBs across the 5, the 10, the half marathon and the marathon distances are all on screen now. I am a flat arched runner and I weigh about 190 pounds. Most of the year I'm in marathon training and do a variety of run types in my training, including interval, tempo, steady, easy and long runs. Typically I run 4 times a week with distances ranging up to about 65 kilometers a week during peak training periods. And now on to some facts about the shoe. The Megablasts retail for £210 here in the UK, but I got them with a 10% discount, so I paid £189 for my pair. They are, rather surprisingly, the lightest shoe in my entire collection, weighing in at 277.6 grams in my UK 13, beating the Hoka Rocket X3 by a few grams. There will be a review of those coming up soon on the channel, so get subscribed if that might be of interest to you. They have a very thin, translucent engineered woven upper. They also have a surprisingly padded heel collar, given how light this shoe is. The Megablasts have a full wedge of Asics premium, but not quite top tier FF Turbo squared foam. This is an ATPU foam like their top tier FF Leap, but it's likely formulated to be a bit harder wearing for all those training miles. The only other shoe in Asics range where you'll find FF Turbo squared at the moment is in the top layer of the Sonicblast's midsole. The Megablasts have an 8mm drop, although Run Repeat, a great website, if you haven't seen it, check it out. They measured this at closer to 10mm with a huge 45mm of stack in the heel and 37mm of stack in the forefoot, though once again, Run Repeat measured it closer to 35mm in the forefoot. The outsole is a strategically placed Asics grip outsole rubber, but the majority of the base of the shoe is exposed midsole foam. The tongue on the Megablast is gusseted and very lightweight, very similar in style to the other Blast range shoes such as the Nova Blast and the Superblast, with some light cushioning where it needs to be around the lace tie area. The laces on the Megablast are also a premium sawtooth style, also seen on the Metaspeed range. So onto my personal experience in the Megablasts, and I will start with the good stuff. On the foot, I found the Megablast to be very comfortable. I always had to size down in the Superblast 2 as they maxed out at a UK 12, so getting these in a UK 13 was a massive thing for me. As a result, the Megablasts have felt more comfortable than the Superblast 2. The toe box definitely has a roomier feel on the Megablasts. The gusseted tongue has worked as it should, keeping the tongue in position during all of my runs. The heel of the shoe has been very comfortable. It kind of feels like the shoe defies physics being as light as it is, but with the cushioning and the collar, I think Asics have been very clever with the design of the shoe overall. Across my 150 kilometers of use so far, I have done the full range of runs from interval to easy pace sessions. The longest run I have done in them has been a half marathon distance. I've also used them in the warmer climates of Lanzarote and also the cold, frosty British winter. The Megablast really didn't take any breaking in, compared to my experience in the Superblast 2 when I found they took about 50k to break in. My first few runs in them ranged from a couple of 2-mile blasts as part of aquathlon and triathlons and a steady paced half marathon out in Lanzarote. They had a responsive pop at the faster paces of around 4 minutes 15 per kilometre, which I haven't really experienced in a non-plated shoe before to that level. But they were also forgiving at the steady and slower paces of around 5 minutes to 5 minutes 45 per kilometre, where the responsive pop turns into more of a nice cushioned ride. They have a fairly smooth rocker both at the heel and at the toe, which combined with the responsiveness of the FF Blast squared foam, I think they really complemented each other well. In my use during the British winter, the Megablasts have had a surprising level of grip on frosty and icy paths, given the amount of exposed midsole that they have, the Asics grip rubber really does seem to do a good job. Now moving on to the downside for me, just personally, of my experience in the Megablast. This issue didn't present itself on my initial runs, but over time and continued use, it's become a little bit of a problem. At the beginning of the review, I mentioned that I am a flat arched runner, and my personal issue with the Megablasts is that I think they are just too neutral a shoe for my gait. This has resulted in some discomfort on my left knee when worn for long periods of time. About halfway into my use of the Megablasts, I opted to use an Enitor insole rather than the insole that came with the shoe to give me a little bit more build on the medial arch. This has helped matters, but even with that, I still think they are still a little bit too neutral for me in all honesty. They aren't as bad as I found the Adidas EVO SLs in that regard, which I had to completely stop running in. But with the Megablasts, I restrict my use of them now to shorter sessions like tempo and intervals, and I don't really use them on longer runs, which is a shame because I was really thinking and hoping they would be my London Marathon shoe in April. I'm aware I'm in a minority having flat arches, which does pain me, but I can see how for the right type of runner, the Megablasts might be the best running shoe perhaps ever made, given its weight, comfort and versatility. I can see how this could be a shoe that ticks all the boxes and actually removes the need for a shoe rotation. But for me and my running mechanics, that search continues. And that leads me on to the Asics Superblast 3 perhaps. So if you want to see my review of those, get subscribed to my channel because that review will be coming soon. But for now, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. See ya.